In order to subscribe for my channel, please click here or click here. Please like, share, and comments on my videos and channel. Thank you.
Hey guys, this is Gaurav. Welcome to SaaS with ServiceNow. In this session, we are going to talk about introduction of Agile and Scrum. You must have heard these two words, Agile and Scrum, most of the times in your organization. Some organizations have already implemented Agile development process and some are about to implement. Or if the organizations they have not implemented, then they are thinking to implement. Similarly, ServiceNow development process also follows the agile development. ServiceNow also has developed an application called Agile Development, which is totally based on Agile and Scrum. Initially, they came up with an application called Agile Development, and then they introduced features, new features into it, and converted and came up with a version of the Agile Development, that is Agile Development 2.0, which is very seamless Agile development application. Before I start, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Gaurav Tripathi. I have 10 years of experience in IT with 6.5 years of experience in ServiceNow architect solutions and project delivery. The most important question here comes is, what is Agile? Agile is an approach to perform software development. It has some set of values and principles which you can follow in your development process. These principles are not strict principles that you have to follow all of them. It's totally up to you. Those are just principles. You can design your process as per your business requirement, or whatever suits better to you, you can do that. The best part of Agile is it is incremental and iterative delivery. That means you keep on adding the features and you keep on delivering the product. Let's talk about a little bit in more details. If I talk about if you don't follow Agile and if you follow waterfall model, you start a project. You have some estimation for that project to deliver. You define some timelines and you want to deliver that product after 3 months or maybe 6 months. When you start the project, you start developing it, add multiple features, but you don't deliver it in between, and you deliver it at the end. So you continuously develop the product. So the product was started here and then it was delivered here. So that means your project can be of 3 months long, 6 months long, or 1 year long. In between, your stakeholders are not going to get any output. They will see the final product at the end. Let's talk about how this would work in Agile. As I mentioned, Agile is iterative and incremental delivery. So if you start a project, you define some features for first delivery, and you end it, and you deliver the product in production. Then you again start some features to add some features, and then deliver it. So in that case, you are keep on adding features and you keep on starting and ending your complete development process. And in the meantime, you are keep on delivering it till the end. So this is called iterative development. So you start your development and keep on doing the development and also keep on delivering it. So your customer, your stakeholders doesn't have to wait for 3 months. So you can start your project on, for example, 1st of January. You can deliver the minimum viable product. That means the product which has minimum features that can be delivered maybe in mid of Jan, maybe end of Jan. And then you again get some features added and deliver it end of Feb. And at the last, when you're adding more features, the advanced features, and then the final product will be delivered to your customers. So this is the benefit of Agile. And that's how we are saying it is incremental and iterative delivery. Agile development. Now, Agile development is totally based on short and fixed schedule of cycle. So when you follow Agile development process, you have very short and fixed schedule of cycle. As I mentioned earlier, so you started your project or your first delivery on 1st Jan and you're delivering it by end of Jan. And then you keep on delivering it every month. That means now you have short duration of the cycle. And if I talk about waterfall model, then you had a long duration where customer was getting his output after 3 months. Agile development has repeating sequence of events, milestones, and meetings. It is the practice of delivering requirements continuously. And that is the important thing in Agile. That you are delivering all the requirements raised by your customers, your clients, your stakeholders, and they are able to see something in the production. In Agile development process, you have some set of roles. So whenever we talk about Agile development process, there are some roles which play a really important function in this overall development process. When all these roles collaborate with each other, then they make this development process better. And that's the reason it's called Agile development. Another term we have is Scrum. Now, Scrum is one of the methodology of Agile. So Agile has different methodologies and Scrum is one of them. Scrum is basically used for development, software development process. It's a lightweight process framework for Agile development. And the important point here is it is widely used. So wherever you will find or you will hear this word called Agile development, in every organization, you will definitely see that they follow Scrum methodology. Because Scrum methodology focuses more on productivity and transparency. It maximizes the quality of the delivery. And the important part is it visualizes better estimation. So you don't have to do any kind of estimation in Scrum as part of the delivery because you are continuously delivering product as part of the Agile development process. It will automatically visualize the estimation. When you will start the development process and you will continuously delivering it, you will have better idea of the estimations. What are different roles in Agile development and Scrum process? One of the important role in Agile is Scrum Master. Now, Scrum Master is the lead. He is the main person who will make sure that all the process in Agile development and Scrum are being followed. There are different activities involved, different meetings, different milestones involved in Agile. This person, Scrum Master, will make sure that we are achieving all the milestones, all the meetings are happening on time, all the deliverables are being delivered on time. That's the main role. So if I talk about whenever you will think to implement Agile in your organization, you definitely need a Scrum Master. Without Scrum Master, you cannot implement Agile development in your organization. He is the backbone of the whole process because he will make sure that whatever tasks are being done by the different teams, they are being delivered and all the tracking of the progress is being done properly. The next important role here is product owner. I'm sure you must have not heard about this word before if you were following the waterfall model. Product owner is really an important role in agile development. Product owner is a person who owns the particular product of for development. So developers develop different products. If I talk about ServiceNow, we develop incident management, we develop change management, we customize problem management. So these are different products of ServiceNow. If you want to segregate these products, it's totally up to you. If you want to take ServiceNow as a single product, you can also do that. But it's better you segregate the products of ServiceNow because ServiceNow has different and many modules. In that case, it will be really helpful for you so that you can organize your development process properly. So the product owner is the person who is owning, who has full authority to decide what exactly will be going into that particular product. Because it might happen, different people of your organization, they might ask for different features. So this is the person who will make sure that all the requirements are being gathered in just one bucket. And they are also being given to the delivery team in just one way. So not everyone is reaching out to the delivery team. So he is the point of contact. He is the main person, a centralized person who will manage all the requirements from different customers. And the third role is Scrum team. Now, a Scrum team involves different people like developers, testers. Sometimes you can say, ideally, Scrum Master and product owner, they can be part of Scrum team as well. But overall, Scrum team is developers and testers who are basically working on the task, who are working for the products and requirements raised by product owner. Agile terms. There are really some important terms in Agile so that you can understand what exactly they mean about. One of the important terms is product. What is a product? A product, it's a set of features and functionality. All products has their owners who are called product owners. And this is what we just talked about. As an example, incident management is a product. Change management is a product. And then any other applications you have like HR delivery or maybe SecOps or maybe vulnerability response, other applications of ServiceNow, other modules of ServiceNow, they can be considered as a single product. So the next term is product owner. Now the person who can decide what requirement, what features can be added to these products will be called as product owner. He is the main person who has full authority to decide what will be added to the product, what will not be added to the product. The next term is backlog. Backlog is nothing like the list of requirements created by the product owners. So product owner will create multiple requirements. And it might happen that he might get different requirements from the different process owners or maybe different customers who are using his product. So he might get different requirements as well. But overall, he will be the point of contact and he will be the person who will decide from different customers what will be added to the backlog. So it's totally up to him. He will manage his backlog. Then we have story. Now, we were talking about list of requirements. So the one requirement which needs to be developed, which needs to be implemented for that product, that is a story. Example, add a field and a button on the form. This is an example that you have added a feature and you want to add a feature like this, like you want to add a field and a button on the form or maybe on the ServiceNow form. That is a story. Then you have sprint. Sprint is a time frame in which development team delivers one or more stories. And the important part in Agile is you have this duration. And if you remember, I was talking about the iteration delivery. That is how it works with different sprints. So from start to end, when you are delivering the final product, you might have multiple sprints. And after every sprint, maybe after every 2 sprints, you are delivering the product in production. And that's how it called sprint, the time frame in which development team delivers one or more stories. That means they are working on the requirements given by the customer and the product owner. An example you can see here, 2 weeks make 1 sprint. This is a standard way to work on the sprints. So normally if I talk about in the organizations and in the agile development process, 2 weeks are considered as 1 sprint. Then theme. Theme is nothing like high-level view of product or goal. So as you have incident management. Now incident management is a product. But it might happen incident management has different high-level features. Those features or goal would be called as theme. Then we have epics. Epics are nothing, they are the parts of theme. So if you will segregate, if you will divide the themes, it will become epics. So overall, your development team, your Scrum team would be working on themes and epics. And it's totally up to you what exactly you create. Whether you want to go with the themes, you want to go with the epics. Some of the customers, some of the organizations, they don't follow both. They just create story and just work on it. So it's totally up to you. But it's better you follow the same model, the same process you have so that you can get the better output. Because this is the collaborative process. They have developed the process, they have invented the process by all these things. So that if you will collaborate every component, in that case, you will be able to get better output. Then we have Scrum task. Now, Scrum task is the task assigned to the teams to perform different activities for that story. So, product owner has already created a story. He will assign that story to someone. That story will be assigned to someone, and that developer will perform the development. Now, all the activities, because it's not something just development is the activity for that story or for that requirement. There are different activities. Those activities are called Scrum tasks, like development, testing, analysis, documentation. These are all different activities. Scrum Framework. Scrum Framework is based on personal backlog. So as I mentioned, the list of requirements. So every product owner will have their own backlog where they will see the list of stories, list of requirements they want to implement for their product. Then we have sprint backlog. Once you have the personal backlog and you have decided that out of that personal backlog, you want to put some of the stories into the sprint. So that will be called as sprint backlog. That means you want, out of 100 stories, you want 20 stories to be part of the next sprint. That will become the sprint backlog. And then we have sprints. That means you have assigned the sprint backlog, and then you will distribute those stories into the different sprints you have. If you have a sprint backlog, that means for the next release, for the next delivery, you have 2 sprints, and that is 4 weeks, for example. So you will have 2 sprints and you will assign the backlog accordingly. And then we have sprint planning. Once you have decided the sprints and the sprint backlog, then as per the Scrum framework, you will do sprint planning. In sprint planning, you will decide what all stories should be included and will be like a commitment. Yes, these stories will be delivered as part of the current sprint or maybe the next sprint. So sprint planning is really plays an important role in Scrum framework. Scrum activities. Now, what are different activities involved in Scrum? One of the important activity is sprint planning, which I just mentioned. Because planning is very important so that your team, or you will get better visualization that yes, this is what your team can deliver. And Scrum Master will get better picture that yes, my Scrum team will be able to deliver this much of stories or this much of requirement. And that's how you will work in sprint planning. Then you have daily Scrum. When you start the sprint, now there has to be someone who would always check the progress. And that's the important part in Scrum methodology. That you have a daily Scrum call with all the Scrum team members so that you are aware of the progress. In daily Scrum call, product owner can also join so that he's also aware what exactly is going on, so that he has better transparency. And that's what we talked about as part of the Scrum terminology, the definition of Scrum, that there is very better transparency when you follow Scrum. The next activity we have is sprint review. Sprint review is really important because you see what exactly you have developed. Whatever development was done, somebody has to review it. And that somebody would be the product owner, maybe with process owners. They will see whatever you have developed, was it developed as per the requirement? That part, that activity will be here. And then you have sprint retrospective. So till sprint review, you are done with the development. You have developed the feature. You are done with the story which was given to you. Now you have to talk about in the whole sprint, what went well, what went wrong, what exactly you need to take some action to improve some of the things. These are the 3 topics which you discuss in sprint retrospective. It is just an activity to improvise the whole process. Because Agile is a process which you cannot implement in just one day or maybe in just 1 month. It might take more time. You have to mature. You have to wait for its maturity basically. That's the main target. You might get more challenges. You might get difficulties, but you don't have to worry about them in the beginning. Because if you are changing the process, which you are already following something else, you will definitely get some challenges. Your team will also might think that there are a lot of challenges around managing their work, managing their meetings. But slowly and slowly, you will be able to get maturity in your process. And that's how sprint retrospective will help you. That your team will discuss with you, will discuss with the scrum master that what exactly was not going well, what is going well, so that you will get some positives, some negatives from the team. In that case, you will be able to take some proper actions to improvise things and improvise the process you have. Sprint reports. Now, as your team is following the Scrum process, Agile development process, they are working on different stories, they are working on different Scrum tasks, and they are attending all the meetings, they are progressing on their development process. Now, how exactly you will come to know whether things are going in the right direction? Maybe you want to show your leadership, or not even leadership, if as a scrum master you want to show, yes, or you want to see that whether things are going better or not. In that case, when you will follow agile process by creating different records in the system or whatever tool you are using, I would mostly focus on ServiceNow tool. So even in ServiceNow agile development tool, agile development 2.0 module we have, it has different tasks or records you can create, like product, release, story, epics, themes. That's what you can create. Now all those records, you have stories, scrum task. When you will update these records, when you will complete those records, that will give you a report. Just not only one report, basically, they will give you two reports which are really important in Scrum. And those are the Scrum artifacts, basically. One is velocity chart. Velocity chart is something which will give you the historical performance of your team. That how exactly your team is delivering the work. So if you really want to see the historical performance, you can see the velocity chart. And another important chart is burn down chart. This will show you the holistic picture that how exactly it will show you the graphical view, the Gantt chart basically, that how exactly your team is progressing as per the time you have. So you have 2 weeks of one sprint basically, and you have started the development from the first day and you are completing when. That's how it tracks that progress and shows the proper historical view that how your team is progressing. So these are the two important artifacts in Scrum which you really want to know as part of the velocity chart and burn down chart. Agile development process. Before I talk about agile development process, let me tell you one thing, that this session is not about details of Agile and Scrum. I'm not going to create different stories. I'm not going to show you the detailed process of Agile and Scrum. This session is only about introduction. So if you hear Agile and Scrum in your organization, or if your leader talk about these words, at least you will be able to relate some of the terminologies which we used. You will be able to tell them, yes, you know little bit about the process. I will definitely post a video which will talk about the complete end-to-end development process of Agile, where I will be utilizing ServiceNow development, Agile development application, and the different features of Agile development 2.0, and how exactly you can use that application in your ServiceNow development. Or if your organization is using any different tool, that how you can convince your leaders to utilize this particular application in ServiceNow rather than using or utilizing any other application. So let's talk about Agile development process. In this section, we will just talk about that how this process works. So development process starts with the creation of the product. So product is the really important thing in order to deliver the work. So first you have to create the product, different products you have. Then you create stories, the requirement for these products. So whatever features you have to these products, you can create those into the stories. And then backlog. So once you will create multiple stories, they will become the backlog. And then do you create release. That means you will create multiple releases so that you can deliver it, you can implement it in production. So you will have for every sprint or every 2 sprints, you will have a particular release to deliver that will be implemented in production after whole development process of development, testing and everything. UAT, it totally depends on the process of your organization. And then we have backlog refinement. So once you are done with the backlog creation, you are done with the release creation, then you discuss. So Scrum Master will discuss all the stories which you want to implement in that particular release or any particular sprint. That is what you are going to talk about in backlog refinement. Then you have sprint planning. Once you got all the requirements, all the stories to be developed, then whole Scrum team will be discussing what exactly they are going to deliver as part of the sprint, and that will be done as sprint planning. So they will plan that how exactly they will deliver, what exactly they can deliver. That's how they will discuss in sprint planning. And then the last action we have is demo. So once you are done with the development, you will give a demo to your stakeholders, so the product owners, the process owners, whatever you have developed. Thanks for watching my video and have a great day.